We are delighted at the interest this event has generated in reading over the last 24 and 48 hours. Some had some right aspects of the story, and I think there were a few that were missed. And today we are delighted to have members of Mike's team in Harrisburg and from across the state. Representative Greg Rothman is here, Representative Mike Piskaric, Representative Matt Dowling, Representative Ryan Warner, Senator Scott Hutchinson, who served, of course, in the House with Mike before ascending to the Senate, Representative Jim Marshall, Representative Matt Gobler, delighted to have him, and along with Representative Tim O'Neill, Representative Bud Cook. A lot of these guys were driving pretty far to be here today. Representative Josh Kale, Representative Lori Muskorsky, of course now a member of the Gaming Control Board, former House member Representative Mark Mustio, County Councilman Sam DeMarco. We saw him today. The Honorable Mayor, Dennis O'Keefe, and Councilman Tom Schwartzmeyer here as well. And any other members, dignitaries who are here, we are so thankful, and for everyone who's watching the live stream, for your interest and for attending today. This announcement made, I think you'll hear, with a great deal of prayer and consideration. The Turzai family, a third of the boys are here today, others back at college, but please make welcome the Speaker of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, Mike Turzai, his wife Lydia, and Matthew Turzai.
Lydia, come on, guys. Thank you, Jeffrey. Good morning. Thank you all for coming here today at 125 Hillview Lane, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the town of McCandless. This has been our district office since I first started as a state representative in 2001. First, an observation. You know, one of the most difficult parts of public service is watching so many colleagues have, having difficult times in terms of keeping the families together, because these jobs are difficult. They're challenging. A lot of travel, a lot of time away from home. It's a hard reality. And yet, we run for office to make life better for families and trade, like many of our colleagues in other professions, trade precious time, sometimes in years and decades, for one more term, a last term that never really seems to come, right? Well, for me, here it is. Every 2 years, Lydia, my wife Lydia, so gracious of her to be here today. She's down from her office as a pediatrician in between patients. And my three boys, Andrew and Stephen are at college. Andrew's at Notre Dame, says hello. Stephen's at Franklin and Marshall, says hello. And then Matthew, who is on lunch break and study hall break right now. We check the gauges, right? And we talk to each other. And we say, hey, is this where we're supposed to be? Are we moving in the right trajectory? Are we on the right journey? Are the sacrifices and trade-offs we're making as a family still important? Now, keep in mind, Lydia's got her own profession as a pediatrician. The boys are good students and involved in many activities and sports. It's certainly not all about my responsibilities and schedules. But I did have the blessing and honor, and still have the blessing and the honor, of being Speaker of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, the 5th most populous state in the nation, and to serve as a state representative for this wonderful community that you're standing in right now, the 28th Legislative District. To think this grandson of Hungarian and Irish immigrants has been able to follow what William Penn started and what Ben Franklin once held. Did those thousands of miles on the turnpike, oh, it's not limited to the turnpike, let me tell you, And the myriad of speeches and rallying calls, strategizing, interviewing meetings, calls, texts. The question I have to ask myself, and did ask myself almost every day, was I making a positive difference for our neighbors here and across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? And was it in any way taking away from the positive, dignified trajectory of my wife and boys? You know, every time we'd ask the question, it was a green light from every member of my family. Dad, let's do it again. We're in, Dad. Honey, yeah, come on, let's do it again. You're making a positive difference. You're still contributing to the family and home. And I would think it's an important time to stop unnecessary taxes that are going to destroy real opportunities or crush family-sustaining jobs in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. One more term to advance we all know where I am on the, the public policy spectrum, right of center agenda, trying to move family-sustaining jobs, but also the dignity of each life from the unborn to the last moment on the earth into the center of every public policy debate. Another term to build a dynamic Pennsylvania where there's jobs and energy and manufacturing, and where we work with skilled trades to make sure that Pennsylvania is the absolute best, using brownfield sites. One more term to do battle for parents and grandparents or guardians who just want that opportunity for kids, their kids, no matter what their background, whether it's in a successful public school system like North Allegheny, or whether it's in a small Catholic or Christian or Jewish or Muslim school. One size does not fit all. And one more term, oh my goodness, I ask myself this regularly. Did I help the unborn in any way without castigating people, but trying to bring people together to understand that each and every one of us has dignity from that moment on? Every 2 years, we check it out. And I have to say, Lydia and I, we've been talking, and just over the course of this year, we just said, it may be time for others to take the torch, to pass it on. And there's so many. Look at my colleagues here. Like these are young, dynamic, strong leaders in and of themselves, and to be a teammate and to help develop some of their careers or to work with them on so many important issues, it's been the pride of a lifetime. So I get to look back, and I know I'm proud to say that I've been a full-time dad, full-time husband, full-time representative for this 28th district, the towns of McCandless, Borough Bradford Woods, Borough Franklin Park, Marshall Township, Pine Township, Richland Township, just great communities, like amazing people, our friends, like Lydia and I and our boys, we're part of the fabric. We love this community. And still full-time Speaker of the House traveling the state, in a state that I think is just amazing, amazing. Great people from all over, all four corners. I've been gratified that I got to stand alongside some really great teammates in front of the harshest winds of opposition and criticism to do what we felt was right and to really win on behalf of the citizens of Pennsylvania. I know what strong, principled, compassionate leaders can do when they're willing to build coalitions and bring people together, no matter what their political home. During the Christmas break, boys were back at college. It was pretty active around the house. Matt was kind of really excited to have them there. He was missing the fights. They know, every one of them knows how much I love this job and the opportunity to serve. But they also know that even though it has been the privilege of a lifetime, that, everybody moves on. I got to talk to Lydia many times individually. I got to talk to Sarah Kennedy, who's also like my family and who has been with me from day one in running this office and responsibilities across the state. I got to talk to each of the boys individually, And they all had amazing insights about whether or not this was the time to move on. Andrew, Stephen, Matt, Lydia have all been so encouraging. I do want to cite one comment that Stephen made for me. We were sitting in a restaurant. He's a pitcher. He pitched at Vincentian Academy, state champion pitcher. Andrew graduated from North A. Matt's at North A. We love North Allegheny. But for Stephen, Vincentian was a great fit. And he's still pitching today as a baseball player. And he said, Dad, you know, this is Stephen. Like, I knew this kid who gave me all the grief, not doing homework, pushing him on, why aren't you on honors list? And we're sitting at a Longhorn steakhouse at the bar. He was not drinking. And he said, hey, Dad, you know, the last day that I pitch baseball is going to be so hard. But there's going to be a last day when I pitch. I am only at this time telling you that I'm not running again. I don't have any present, despite reports to the contrary, offer a position. I will just say this, that one of the things that really mattered to me when I came into the state legislature, now I'm a little bit older than a lot of my colleagues and some of you here, but my mom and dad were really salt-of-the-earth people. And my mom went back to work during the late 70s, early 80s, when unemployment in Beaver County, where she was from, was at 26%, and in Allegheny County, nearing 20%. It was the collapse of the steel industry. And my mom went back to work as an interviewer to try to help people not only get benefits, but to find jobs. And it's never left my perspective. And I've always wanted Pennsylvania to be, from the day I came into the legislature, a place where we would have a resurgence in those family-sustaining jobs where people would be able to take care of themselves and to give back to their communities. And whether it's been reforming our corporate taxes or lawsuit abuse or workers' compensation and unemployment compensation, things that are kind of, technical and do not make the front page, but that can make a difference, or making sure that the natural gas industry has an opportunity to grow and that manufacturing can come with it, and looking for brownfield sites to reconvert to thriving opportunity. I'd like to be in the private sector. I'd like to be on that other side of that line where I'm actually in the middle of it to create those jobs and to see an organization thrive and to have people just do their best to take care of their families and give back to their communities. Weighing against these considerations, and with the strong support of a tremendous team of professionals here and in the state capitol, my wife and I and the boys, we concluded that it's time to allow another voice to step up here in the 28th district and serve, and to learn for ourselves the joy of helping neighbors and being part of a cause bigger than yourself. I'll still be speaker, and I'm going to continue to do my responsibilities. I'm going to continue to serve the 28th district, but it's time for someone else to run in this particular seat. And shortly it will be time for some of my colleagues to take the mantles of leadership in the House Republican caucus. That's why I'm announcing today that I will not be asking my neighbors to nominate me for another term or to elect me for another term. And while I won't be running for re-election, I will be doing everything I can to help this community and state that I love. God has been exceptionally good to me. And I've made this decision knowing that I've left it all on the field. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here with me today. You are great friends, and I will cherish my friendships and endeavors with each and every one of you. God bless.